Hello, everyone. It's Kia Kelly, business and brand consultant for KiaKelly.com and IfYouBranded.com. If this is your first time watching, thank you so much for watching me. I am a business owner and an entrepreneur, and basically what I do is I help people to figure out who they are at the core of their being. Then we come up with creative ideas to build businesses to make money, and strategically we build those businesses and brands online and we make them profitable. So when you watch me, you are always going to hear me talk about business, branding, Jesus, and my cats, because that's who I am, and so that is what I talk about. So today I want to chat with you guys about 3 reasons why you should focus on the future versus where you currently are. 3 reasons why you should focus on the future versus where you currently are. All right, so I got my notes here, just so I don't forget. All right, so let's go ahead and get into it. And if you missed yesterday's broadcast, make sure you go back and watch it. I think it was pretty good, in my humble opinion. Anyway, okay, so let's go ahead and get into it. So many times, and we're talking about business, so many times we as a people, we get creative ideas and we're like, ooh, I'm gonna create this and I'm gonna make money doing that. And then something else will come up and we're like, ooh, I got a creative idea. I'm going to make money doing that. And we more so focus on what we can do now versus what can happen in the future and long term. Okay. So today's conversation is more so like a legacy building conversation, and what most successful business owners do. So I'm not sure if you're familiar with Apple or Samsung or the big boys that are out there, but I guarantee you that they have a 5-year plan, a 10-year plan, 20-year plan, and probably 100 years down the line. Maybe not as detailed for 100 years, but they have longer term plans. And the reason is a lot of different reasons, but I wrote down 3 of those reasons in my opinion today, all right? And they're in no particular order, all right? So the first one I wrote down is that today is going to be over in 24 hours. Now, clearly that is like, duh. But today is going to be over in 24 hours. So what does that mean? That means if you create a business, you create a product or a service based upon today, well, what happens when things change tomorrow? Right? So let's just say you create a product and it is only for the World Cup, right? Only for the World Cup this year. There's nothing wrong with that. You could probably make a lot of money creating a product for the World Cup today, right? But if you are trying to build a business that is going to pay you year after year after year after year, without having to create all over again every single time, then you cannot build a business that is solely focused on a product for the World Cup this year, right? Now you can have a product that is going after soccer players, or sports fanatics or what have you, but it's not wise for you to only start a business and create a product specifically for the World Cup. Because what happens when the World Cup is over, right? And what happens when you launch this product and you're brand new, but this company has been out forever selling sports memorabilia and all that forever. And all of these people are used to getting their products from this person. Well, now you've got to spend a lot of advertising dollars trying to steal these people to come to your business, because their people are loyal to them already, but you only have this one product. Okay, so the first reason I said was that, today is going to end in 24 hours. You do not want to focus solely on making something for today that's only for today, because today is going to end tomorrow. Okay, all right. So the second reason that I wrote down is that long-term creation gives you a goal, okay? Long-term creation gives you a goal. Now, this is the one I will probably stay on the longest today, all right? And if you guys are live and you're enjoying this, please comment, talk back to me, and you can share. I'd appreciate it. If you're watching on the replay, you can always comment, like, and share on the replay as well, all right? So let's kind of talk about that. So as an entrepreneur, this thing ain't easy. This is just me being honest. This thing is not easy. To want to wake up every day, get dressed, get out of bed, and actually work. Like when you work from home, you don't have to get dressed every day. You don't have to brush your teeth every day if you don't want to, right? But something has to get you going. Morning, Nikki. Morning, Shari. Right? And entrepreneurship gets hard, right? It gets hard. Now, I share this example with you guys all the time, but I have to remind you as we're in this conversation. So most people that know me from years ago knew that I am the owner of Return of the Curls, and it's a yearly hair show that we had in Virginia for African American women with curly hair. So that show was happening. I had to do everything that I needed to do to make the show successful. So the vendors, the sponsors, the attendees, the people that were speaking, all of that, I had to make sure that all that was taken care of. So all the money that had to be raised, everything was my responsibility. Any speakers, any performances, everything. Listen to me. In 2014, my hair show was July 12th, I think it was. My marriage went into a crazy catastrophe on July 5th. 7 days from that day, I had to have that show. All I wanted to do was crawl under the bed and in the fetal position and cry. That's all I wanted to do. I was not thinking about no vendors, no sponsors, no attendees, no speakers. I still needed like $7,000 or $8,000 to give the convention center before the event was going on, right? So I had some choices to make. I could completely fold and let my business and brand be completely ruined because I was having a personal crisis, or as an entrepreneur, I could say, these emotions are going in this box right now, and I'm gonna focus on this, and then when this is done today, I'm gonna go back and pick this back up and fall apart again, right? I had an end goal in mind. So even though I was going through personal crisis, I knew I could not fold. I knew that I had to still perform in my business because long term, I have big goals for the business Return of the Curls, okay? Not to mention, entrepreneurship gets hard as being an entrepreneur in general, right? As being an entrepreneur in general, because you are great at what you're great at, but you're terrible at a whole lot of other stuff. But in your business, you have to learn those things, right? I think I was talking to someone yesterday, and he said, I'm very right brain. When I have to be left brain, I'm just like, oh. And that's how I am with tech stuff. Like, I'm very good at creative and this and all that type of stuff. But when I have to learn tech stuff, I can't just say, oh, I can't learn that today. No, I have to shut off my phone, shut off my TV, and focus on the tech stuff. Because if I don't learn it, guess what? Nobody learns it. You hear what I'm saying? That's like social media is always changing. I love it, but I don't work for Facebook. I don't work for Instagram. So I have to relearn all the stuff that they change. And sometimes I don't want to learn that stuff. But I'm operating an internet marketing business. And so guess what? I have to learn that stuff, and I have to invest time and energy into that stuff. And I do that because of long term, right? It's not about what is happening today. It's about what I want to have happen long term. And so many times we don't look at that, because when things go crazy in your life and in your business, everything in you is going to say, quit. Do you hear what I'm saying? Everything is going to say quit. I went to Zumba on Monday, and as soon as the class started, I started having problems with my arm. And I haven't had problems with this arm in years, but we just started doing like little things, and I said, if I continue, I'm gonna blow something, so I'm not gonna do this, right? But everything in me said, just leave the class, you just leave. But because the instructor was like, I'm gonna be in your face, I'm gonna do this, and he was serious about his class. And everybody was doing all these arm exercises at the beginning of the class, and I'm doing this because my arms are hurting, and I'm trying to keep my arm from hurting. And he like walks over to where he can see me, and he was like to me, and I said, I just pointed to my arm, was like, my arm hurts, and he said, oh, okay, no problem. And so I finished 60 minutes of Zumba with my arms like this. When they were doing all the stuff that up top, I was doing this. When they were doing push-ups, I was doing squats. When they were doing all of the other stuff I said, you would if you were watching me, you would see me pause and say, what could I do to alternate this? So I still get the same level of intensity from here down and leave this alone, right? And so, but I could have easily said I quit. But my long-term goals is I got to get some of this fat off. I know that sounds funny, but I was like, I got to get some of this stuff off. And I just really enjoy exercising. So I stayed even though it had the potential of hurting me, right? So that's what I'm talking about as it pertains to you guys and your businesses. You guys have to understand that the long term is much more important than the short term. Yes, you want to have some wins on the short term, right? How many of y'all want to have some wins like today, this week, this month, this year? I do, but I really am focused on the long term. Right? I want to be married with kids, and I want to have a whole lot of money. I want to be in Rome. I want to be in Italy. I want to go to Thailand. I want to go to Korea, Japan. I want to go to all types of places. And how can you do that? First of all, you need money. Second of all, you need some long money so that you're not worried about getting back to work. And I keep saying to myself, well, how can I do that? It's the creative things that I can focus on now, but building a business that looks like something long term, right? Long term. So that's like my favorite reason why you should focus on long term versus where you currently are. But as a business, not only do you focus on long term, but you got to create some sort of plan. That's right, Tarika, long money. You got to create some sort of plan, because if you don't create a plan, nothing will get done, right? I know last week or a couple weeks ago, I sat outside and was coming up with like a 12-month marketing plan. And I was like, well, how can this be done? You know, there's Nikki back there, my intern, and she goes back to school in August. And I said, well, hold on. How is this going to work? If she goes back to school, I can't stop what it is that I'm doing, what we were doing for marketing, when she goes back to school. And so we came up with a plan of how to still make everything work, how she still can be an intern and get paid, and I still get everything that I need as a business without taking up all her time while she's at school. You know what I mean? And we came up with a plan, right? I now have a marketing intern for Return to the Curls. And we're like, well, how can we get this done? Here is the plan. The plan is for 90 days, then it'll go to 6 months, then it'll go to 12 months. There has to be some sort of plan, right? That's like even in my dating life. When I meet someone and that person is worth introducing, the plan is to introduce that person to Jennifer, right? My mentor. She's serious, right? And then at some point, he'll meet probably Pastor Monique on the phone or in person. And then at some point, then he will actually visit church. Because when you get to church, everybody's like, oof, like vultures, like, who is that? Who is that? Is that? Everybody want to pray, prophesy. You're like, So there's a plan, okay? All right. So the third reason, and then if you guys have any questions, I want you guys to go ahead and type them in the comments, okay? Nikki, you had asked one earlier. Go ahead and repost that again if that final answer wasn't good for you. But just post it again if you guys have questions, and I'll answer questions after this last one. So I'm serious. So the third reason that you want to focus on the future versus now is because of legacy, right? Now, sometimes we can be just selfish, right? Focusing on ourselves and what we're doing. But because I'm a Christian, I believe that, we should be focusing on creating something that we can leave to generations, that we can leave to our kids' kids, where they can continue to build upon. Not to make our kids spoil or to ruin them, but so they've got something that they can build upon, right? And so legacy. And so if we build businesses only for today, then guess what? When we die, or what happens is, when we get old, now our kids have to spend their money to take care of us. I don't think anything is wrong with that. Don't take it the wrong way. But what I am saying, hey Felisa, what I am saying is that if you're at this age and at this point and you know I'm gonna die one day, that's all of us, right? One day I's gonna die, right? You have to understand you're gonna get older, you know, your sight may be unique and different things are going to happen, and that's going to cost you money. At the age you are now, you can begin thinking about those things. What is it that I can do to set my family up to where I'm not a financial burden on them when that time comes? You see what I'm saying? And most of us don't want to think about that, but that's reality. It just is what it is. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying go get a plot of land, you know, for your grave site. I'm not saying that. But what I am saying is that we have to think about long term. We have to think about legacy, because when we think about legacy, the way we operate is different. The way you raise your kids will be different. The way you handle money with them will be different. The way you handle chores and all those types of things will be different. And your family dynamic will be different. Everything will just be different. Your marriage will be different because you guys have a long-term purpose versus just the current. Okay, so those are my top 3 reasons. I will say it again. It is number 1, because today is over in 24 hours. Number 2, long-term gives you a goal to focus on. And then number 3 is about legacy. All right. So what I want to do is I want to open it up for any kind of questions. Even if you're on a replay, feel free to ask questions. Let's see. Someone said something. Here we go. Okay. Nikki said, my question is, does it make sense for me to do my lives when I don't even have a product to sell? Like I have nothing. I have a business idea. I started when I did 2 lives last year, got scared because I'm sharing my story and expertise. But I have no product. I don't know how to do an ebook. I guess I'm all over the place. Okay, that's very honest, Nikki. So my immediate response is you need to have a consultation with a business coach, whether that's business, branding, clarity, somebody. Now, clearly, because you are right here, we should have a conversation, because I feel like what needs to happen is you have this ebook, but there's more on the inside of you that you could create, but right now you don't know what that is. You don't know how and all that type of stuff. So a lot of people I work with, I take them through clarity session. Now, I'll tell you this. Here's the good thing. 1, we can do a session together and it's $500, which is not a lot, but it could stretch your budget. Or you could take my digital course that's already available. It's called The Blueprint, right? It's on my website. It's called The Blueprint. What I do with you live over 60 minutes, you could actually buy the Blueprint course that will walk you through clarity, okay? So it is, I think it's 6 modules of clarity. Like literally, it will, everything that I do on my calls with my clients live, you will get through that course. The downside is you just won't get me giving you any kind of ideas from our conversation. But for $97 versus $500, you know, I would highly recommend you do one or the other. I know I've got people that just continue to enroll even when I'm not promoting the course. People enroll in it because it's like, everything you need to know that I normally do for $500 is available in the digital course. There's like PDFs, all that inside of there. Target marketing, we talk about your products, we talk about all type of stuff in there. So that's what I would say to you, Nikki. I think you need some clarity with a person, but if you're not able to spend the $500 for a call, I would encourage you to take the Blueprint. If you go to KiaKelly.com, on the home page, you will see the Blueprint. Take that, okay? All right, it's on the home page. That will bless you. Like I guarantee it. And listen, I'm a salesperson. I could easily sell you on $500, but I'm like, no, she could just take the Blueprint, you know. And then once she finishes the Blueprint, then you can come and join us for Define, Declare, Brand It when you're ready. Because then we take the idea that you came up with in the Blueprint and we actually make you money with it. We like do the whole business from idea, you know, what you should be selling, all those types of things. And we strategically build the business, okay? Honestly, don't have that for the call, but I'm definitely going to, right, awesome. And listen, that makes perfect sense, Nikki. Like, I mean, when I first started out, I couldn't pay nobody $500. Listen, I get it, okay? So take the blueprint when you can, all right? Does anybody else have any questions? Any questions? If you guys have questions and you're on a replay, feel free to ask. When I have the moment, I will respond to you. Don't feel any type of way if it takes me a little while just because I'm working. Okay. All right. You're welcome. Any additional questions, guys, feel free to ask. If you guys are not on the list for Define and Declare Branded, it does launch next week. That is our 6-week live digital training where I go from, there's like the pre-work is entrepreneur mindset, from time to discipline to your friends, all that stuff. Then we talk about how to start a business, articles of incorporation, EIN number, getting a business bank account, getting your PayPal set up, getting your QuickBooks set up. We talk about the products you should be doing and how you should be doing them. We get into target audience, deep in target audience, branding, messaging, fonts, colors, websites, opt-ins, freebies, lead magnets. Then we get into marketing, video marketing, email marketing, podcast marketing, event marketing, all of that. We get into all of that in Define, Declare, Branded 6 weeks. All right. So launches next week. If you want to get on the list for that, just go to KiaKelly.com, and on the same homepage, you'll see Define, Declare, Branded. Click it, join the list. All right. So I love you guys. Hope you guys have a fantastic Wednesday. I'm going to go and get back to work. You guys have a good day. Bye.